A very good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you to the webinar Wednesday series by Sales and Profit, which is our organization's name. My name is Yash Agarwal, and I'm the Deputy Manager for Business Development, and I'll be your host for today's session. I would once again like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out to attend this webinar. A lot of you have attended our previous webinars, and I see that we have many new participants as well who are attending our webinar for the first time. Before I introduce our speaker for today, I would like to give a brief background about what Sales and Profit is all about. We are a B2B sales performance improvement company, and we help organizations improve their key sales metrics. We help our clients improve their sales performance through our sales focused services, which range from the suspect to the order journey stage. Now, these three of our sales focused services are sales enablement, sales talent search, and sales consulting. Firstly, I would like to talk about sales enablement. We enable the sales team on their KPIs with customized training programs, which consist of our own methodologies and frameworks, which helps upskill them. Sales talent search. We specialize in sales hiring for tech and telecom organizations, where we hire mid to senior level positions, where we help you fulfill your urgent sales positions with better sales talent and, of course, faster timelines. Talking about sales consulting, we help you diagnose and solve your current sales challenges, where we redefine the entire sales process. We also help understand what should the right organization size be, what should the incentive structure be for the salespeople. All of this leads to improving your sales metrics. I would like to share why we decided to start the webinar Wednesday series. As an organization, we believe in sharing knowledge with the sales community. And as always, the right way to move forward is that we are able to help our sales professionals to learn and grow together. I also have an announcement to make that for our upcoming online workshop, we are planning to conduct in the month of June. Previously, we had conducted a free webinar on how to use ChatGPT for sales. And post that, a lot of people requested us to deep dive into this topic. So regarding that, we are planning to conduct a half-day paid workshop where we will discuss in detail about how sales professionals can use ChatGPT for their advantage. We will, of course, keep you informed about a workshop on our LinkedIn page, and we will also inform you over your email IDs. Now, before we start this webinar, I would like to just share a couple of house rules. This session will be recorded and will also be streamed on our LinkedIn page. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar, and we will be on mute during the entire session. Feel free to use the chat box to shoot your questions, and we will also try to answer as many questions as possible. When leaving the webinar, you'll get a short feedback survey. And I would request that each and everybody participate in this survey, as the feedback will help us improve our upcoming webinars. Now, without further ado, without any further delay, I would like to introduce our speaker, Leenna Jayachaandran. Leenna is a recognized sales architect and has navigated through the ups and downs of the sales world for almost 30 years. She is the CEO and founder of TRANSDEFY and an independent sales consultant and Sales and Profit. She is based out of Dubai and supports multiple companies globally, that too across multiple industry verticals. She is on board of multiple startup organizations and supports them in enhancing the sales process and growing their business. She has also consulted across multiple industries and is passionate about the subject of sales. Leenna was also awarded by CHRO Asia as 100 Best Global Coaches in the year 2017 for her work in mentoring professionals as their careers. So I would request Leenna to take it forward from here and teach us something new and exciting today. Over to you, Leenna.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Thank you so much, and good morning, everybody. It's always wonderful to be a part of such a large audience, and of course, a part of Sales and Profit, who's doing a great job in sharing knowledge. I think that's one of the most noble things to do. And I can see more than 100 participants here, and I hope I can share whatever I could within my experience and my capacity to all of you all, and you could take away something really valuable. Even if it's one thing you can take away from this 1 hour of our conversation, I would be really delighted. And I would love to know, where are you all joining from? Which part of the world are you all joining from? I know we are in the mid of the day. I'm sitting out of a region which is a morning timing. I'm sure some of them are reaching out from an afternoon or an evening timing. Would you want to just drop in your chat? I would love to know which part of the world I'm addressing. Nice. Mumbai, Kerala, Hyderabad. Yeah, that's my home place. Bangalore. I love that city. Gurgaon. Qatar. Okay, interesting. Pune. Wow, we have a great diverse of people here. Vadodara. Interesting. Singapore. We have Kuala Lumpur as well. Ahmedabad. Jaipur. Dallas. Nice. Aditya. Great. Thank you so much for taking out your time. And, I know it's not always easy to invest that kind of time from your busy schedule, and I'm really delighted about it. So we took this topic called elevator pitch because I felt somewhere in the process of being so busy in our selling world and, in our conversations, we've started forgetting about the importance of an elevator pitch. And that's typically why the team has picked up, and it's very close to my heart as well, this particular topic, because I guess this is something should be as a part of us as we are conversing with people in our selling world or in our normal world, out of our selling world as well. And that's why the word sounds pretty much simple, but I feel it's one of the most impactful aspects of our life, the elevator pitch. Before I ask y'all why is it important, I thought I'll give you all a brief insights about where does this term elevator pitch come from. And as you can all see that I put up an elevator because that's exactly how it gets related to. It clearly comes from the idea that you should be able to pitch your idea. It's not only a product or services or solutions. It could be an idea. It could be a conversation to someone in the time it takes to ride an elevator with them. So if you're in an elevator with a person and it takes you 30 seconds or maximum a minute or two to reach the floor you want to, you should be, and if you want to pitch an idea to them, that's the time you have to think and you got to pitch that idea to them. And that's why this word has got related back to the word called elevator. How much can you make an impact? And this concept originated from the business world where, entrepreneurs would try to persuade the investors to fund their project. I'm sure a lot of you are looking at Shark Tanks and, such forums where you see that they've been given that little moment to really make an impact into their world, that decides where their business would actually move towards and who's going to be interested in. So this concept originated from the business world where entrepreneurs, would try to persuade the investors to fund their project during whatever chance they get in a meeting, as they walk through the corridor or in an elevator. So to capture this investors' interest, the entrepreneurs had to make a quick, concise, and a very compelling pitch that conveyed their point of view and their business idea. So that's typically where this word comes from. And so every time you walk into an elevator, I think this should kick into your mind. And over time, this term elevator pitch has come to be referred as any brief or a persuasive pitch. When they say that in 1 minute, let me know, what do you think? What's the idea you have? So in over time, this term has become, that refers to any small or a persuasive pitch that is designed to grab the attention of a listener in a very short amount of time. And you're creating that impact. Basically, it's like a hook, right? So that's typically where the elevator pitch word comes from. And that's what we're going to talk about, how it's impactful, how it's going to affect your world, how can you utilize it. So what we thought was we will cover certain very specific points, which will help you all understand that the time you're investing in here today what is that you're going to take away? So why elevator pitch in sales, and why does it still play a very key role in driving an effective discussion? This is something we're going to talk about. Why is it relevant to all levels of sales function? Typically, it is thought as someone who's a frontline salesperson has to, or is a prospecting person who has to have an elevator pitch. That's a myth. It is relevant to all levels of function. So we'll look at that. How to craft, I think this is one of the most important aspects where most of you would like to take away today, is how to craft one based on your buying persona. It's not about whether how effective your elevator pitch is, but how effective it is for the buying persona you're talking to, or the person whom you want to persuade an idea or want to share what your product or services could do. What is the impact of not having an elevator pitch? Now, this is extremely important as well. One is how do you craft it? Why elevator pitch? But what is the impact if you do not have an elevator pitch while you're starting a discussion? And lastly, I'm sure this is the buzzword of how can I smartly create an elevator pitch? Is it necessary that I have to constantly think about it and do it by myself? No, today technology is right there. The platforms are there. So many platforms are there which can help you create an elevator pitch. But most importantly, what we'd like to emphasize in the last point, which I'm mentioning here, how AI can help you think through building an elevator pitch. It is not that you're going to be dependent on it and you just copy paste it and put it up and just memorize it. But AI is a prompter for you to help you think through how do I refine it? But at the end of the day, you're going to make it as personal, as relevant to your business, to your topic, to your idea, to your services, right? So these are the topics we're going to cover. So before I go in details, I would like to ask the audience, given the definition of elevator pitch, I'm assuming most of you are in sales, I'm assuming a lot of you do have this situation where you have to pitch your idea, or you have to share some inputs to your, people around you, even if it's not in the work environment, outside the work environment, you got very little time to talk about it. Why do you think it is important? And I would like to give about maybe 30 seconds to the audience. I am trying to reset this and start. 60 seconds. Let me give you 60 seconds. Let me be a little more flexible and nicer to you all. Giving you 60 seconds to let me know why is it important from your point of view. Why do we need an elevator pitch at all? In your chat box. Sure. Yash is going to collate all of that and probably share some of them. Sure. The time is running away.
Thanks, Leenna, for being so lenient for giving us 60 seconds, and request everybody to participate in this, and we'll share the results then.
Oops, you're losing an opportunity to position your thought. I have 3 people, I have 15, 14, 13, 12. And here's where you're losing out an opportunity who all have not written. Why is it important? And this is exactly what you go through in your selling world or in your world when you have to persuade. And the time is up. Can we see some of the reasons why do they think it is important?
Sure. We have Rishabh Jain who's saying time is money. Chavi Mishra who's saying gives a hook to connect.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we have Ashima Roy who's saying to catch the mind towards what we are pitching.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Time is money. I like that word because that's the only thing which is in your control, right? Rest all is not much in your control. Time is the only thing which probably would be in our control to realize that how do I utilize that? And that moment which I'm being given, I really want to make the best out of it. And I'm sure many of you would have many other reasons which probably you've lost that 60 seconds to think. And that's the only time you get generally to pitch certain ideas or your business. So this is a starting point for you all to think that if somebody is asking you a question and you've been given 60 seconds to respond back, what's the best I'm going to respond back? Okay, so we're going to keep doing this again and again. Apart from many reasons where it's come on the chat box, I'd like to share with you two of them. One is, why is an elevator pitch important is it gives you a way to introduce yourself in a professional setup, whether you're doing it in a person or in an email or an online. It is a way to introduce certain things, certain ideas about yourself, about your organization, understanding the other person. So in the elevator pitch we are going to talk about can be for any type of situation. So the next 1 hour we are going to talk about is going to be about any type of situation you're going to come across, where you get that opportunity to share a message in 30 seconds to 2 minutes. This could be as simple as you wanting to put an elevator message on your LinkedIn headline. The moment people look at that headline, they need to be able to articulate with you. So it is not only about when you meet a person and have a talk, or it's not only about when you write in an email, but it's also about, any social media platform you're trying to convey a message, that also can be considered as an elevator pitch, something which is getting associated with you all. Yeah. And most importantly, I look at it as creating an internal clarity marker or a focal point. When we say an internal clarity marker, what does that mean? It forces you, remember these words, okay? It forces you to gather the essence of your idea. So the moment somebody's put on a spot for that 30, 60 seconds, it forces you to gather the essence of your idea or a product into a very concise and a compelling message. Like somebody has told, it's a hook. It's forcing you to think in a direction that I can position what I want to share in a very concise and a compelling way that makes, again, these are important words. It makes your idea or a product unique and valuable. Unique and valuable are the words you need to remember. Anybody can share in 60 seconds anything, right? But how are you differentiating yourself by making it unique and valuable when you're positioning yourself? That is what we call an internal clarity marker. It's an anchor for your own self, which drives that information to the people whom you're talking to. Okay, so keeping elevator in mind, the first slide which I showed you all, let me ask you 3 questions. As all of you should participate now. I need more than 19 people on the chat. I see 100 participants. I need to have at least 99 of them responding. What do you think would happen when you're unsure which floor to go? You walk into an elevator, sometimes you're on your phone, so busy, you walk into an elevator, you're not even seeing, maybe there's an important person you could have had a conversation, has come into the elevator, you're not even seeing there, and you're not sure where you're going. What happens? What do you think will happen when you're unsure which floor to go? It's happened to me sometimes. I just walk in and I'm just thinking, oh, did I have to go to the 7th or the 10th floor? And then I press both the floors. What happens in that situation? Maybe you're going for an important meeting. You're completely busy in your mind.
We have Mani Iyer saying missing the opportunity. Raja Shah also mentioning opportunities missed. Nitin Chawla mentioning, you lose time.
Yeah. Missing an opportunity. This is the most critical aspect, right? Once lost an opportunity, it's very difficult. How much time does it really take for us to get an opportunity? Imagine you walk into an elevator and you would have had one of the biggest investors probably in that elevator, and you would have, got confused, or you knew that this person is on certain floor and you had to go there, but you press 7 and that guy is left saying that this person has not come on time. So it's losing of an opportunity. What happens if your elevator stops abruptly? Now, you worked on an elevator pitch, may not be as much as you should have, and you're having this conversation with the person opposite to you, and it's a large deal you want to close. You abruptly stop that elevator pitch. What happens?
Yeah, we have Vijay saying you land in the wrong destination. You miss UPSPL saying missing the first impression. Rohit saying that maybe there is something interesting that could have happened, but now you've missed the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Impression.
Absolutely. And when your elevator stops abruptly, the power is gone. It stops abruptly. What happens? You're completely chaos, confused, tense, right? So imagine you going and having an elevator pitch to someone and you're not focused, you're not prepared, there's a lot of chaos, you've lost an opportunity. Again, going back to someone who mentioned miss opportunity, you might be perceived wrongly. You probably might lose a credibility saying, guy has come here to talk about some things. This person has come to talk about something, but doesn't have clarity, right? And so forth. What can we do to avoid these situations?
I think so. Rohit has mentioned, should have taken the stairs.
Should have taken the stairs. Yeah. Will it take a longer time to reach the place if you have only 60 seconds to reach the 10th floor? And somebody is waiting for you there. Would that be an optimal solution? No, right? You're losing out on time. It's all about how you're optimizing your time. What's the kind of opportunity you're actually going after? So I just wanted to bring this aspect before I go furthermore in details. I know these are very simple statements, but extremely profound because we don't realize this. This is exactly what we face in our selling world. Let me be more focused on the selling world, but because this is more of a sales webinar. But this is exactly what happens, right? If you're not prepared, if you're having a conversation and somebody is asking you, tell me in about a minute, and you're not prepared, there's a lot of chaos, confusion. You might say something which is probably not relevant. Remember, when you're saying time is important, it is even more important for the person who's investing their time to listen to you, right? So what does the elevator pitch help us with? Of course, all these points which you've mentioned, it definitely captures attention. It clarifies your value proposition. Like we said, right? Internal clarity, it's a focal point. When you speak in a very concise way and and create that unique value proposition, it's very clear for the other person. It not only saves your time, it also saves the other person's time, because that person is investing time to listen to you. There's a reason why that person is there. Most importantly, the last 2 points, it increases your confidence. You're more in control. You're more having that power to drive a conversation. And what is the whole objective of all of this? It has to open doors to work towards the next level of conversation, because it's not the 60 seconds you're looking for, right? The 60 seconds is a door opening for you to start working towards the next level of conversation, right? Okay, so we spoke a lot about elevator pitch, which I'm going to continue, but I just want to check with the audience, how many of you think a sales pitch and an elevator pitch is the same? Yes, you want to, or Murtuza, you want to just drop in a poll? I want to know if everybody thinks a sales pitch and an elevator pitch is the same.
Sure, Leenna, I've done that. Everybody, you can see that there's a poll on your screen which requests you to participate and click what you think is the right answer for you.
Interesting. Some says yes, some says no. The no is reducing, yes is increasing.
About 65 people have participated.
Yeah. 65 people have participated. This is interesting. So I'm liking the engagement of the audience. Do we end the poll or do we wait for another 30 seconds? Today's mantra is a 60 seconds. So you'll always hear me saying, do we continue 30 seconds or 60 seconds? So
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. You're being very stingy, huh? Yes. I was flexible with 60 seconds.
No
the more time you're giving, the no's are reducing, the S is increasing. People are changing their mind.
Yeah, I think we can end the poll now.
We can end the poll. So you want to share the results? I'll share the results.
Leenna, you can of course go ahead and share.
So the result says 81% of them say no, they are different. And 19% of them say yes, they are the same. Okay. So before I go to sharing the difference between sales pitch and elevator pitch, 19% is a good percentage. who says it's a yes, give me one word. Why do you think it's the same?
You can type in your answers.
One word as to why do you think a sales pitch and an elevator pitch is the same? And those who mentioned that, no, it's not the same. What's one difference you see in an elevator pitch and a sales pitch? Why do you say, yes, it's different?
Money Iyer says.
Or no, it's different. Sorry.
Money says it's powerful. So that's right.
Powerful? Guys, all of you have to take part. I'm not able to see all as much as I want to. I can only see a few of them, but I'm sure a lot of them are writing and making it interesting, because whatever you're going to type, the others are also going to watch and see, and it's a learning for them. So there's one part of learning happening on the webinar. There's another part of learning happening on the chat.
Elevator pitch is more about opportunity. We have another answer, more focused. Then elevator pitch is to get an opportunity to present the sales pitch.
Okay, that's an interesting statement. Very interesting statement. I think who's mentioned that?
Mr. Bhanu, elevator pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is where it actually, he's been very attentive on this slide. So it opens doors for your sales pitch. Yeah. So yeah, for all of those who've responded back saying it is different. Yes, it is different. Definitely different. When we say, I'll share with you what are those differences. And for all of those who says that it is the same, no, it is not the same. Because when you're talking about an elevator pitch, it's a 30, 60 seconds or maximum of 2 minutes. Remember the elevator, that's the time you get. There you're not selling. You're actually sharing an idea and a unique value proposition of what the other person would like to engage with you going forward. That's the idea of an elevator pitch. But sales pitch, and I'll share with you how is an elevator pitch different from a sales pitch. But a sales pitch is more to do with, it's a long-term engagement. You're going to discuss a lot more about your products and services, what it can do for your customer. And so we'll look at 6 critical points where sales pitch and elevator pitch are different. So let's look at the first one. What's the purpose of a sales pitch? And what's the purpose of an elevator pitch? Sales pitch, it's an influence. It is influencing your potential client to take a decision to go forward, whether it's a purchase or wanting to engage with you, being a partner, whatever it means in your sales world. An elevator pitch is typically, the purpose of that is to capture the attention and interest in 60 seconds. So while you're having an elevator pitch, do not plan to sell your product to sales. It is about positioning yourself, right? What is the length of a sales pitch? It's much longer, more detailed, because you have to explain a lot more. You have to ask more questions. You have to connect to your customers' needs, right? Elevator pitch is short and between 30 seconds to maximum of 2 minutes. We spoke about that. It opens doors towards a sales pitch. The audience who you will be talking to in a sales pitch and elevator pitch is slightly more different. Your target audience is very clear in a sales pitch. Ideally, it's a potential customer who would be interested in your product or solution. You've already identified the prospect. You know that this is going into a qualified stage. You already connected with some of them and you want to present a little more in detail. But an elevator pitch is introducing yourself or your business to multiple audiences, which could probably include your investors, your potential customers, and business partners. So you're introducing yourself. It's your first level of interaction. That's an elevator pitch. That's why it is very short. That leads you to a larger audience, which you can be more clear, more detailed, and speak and explain a little more in detail. That's why it says the length is longer. Sales pitch is extremely in a professional environment. Elevator pitch can be more informal and conversational. You're meeting someone, you're quickly driving an elevator pitch, 30, 60 or 2 minutes maximum. It's a conversation on a quick timelines which you have. Sales pitch is far more professional. It takes a lot more time. You're presenting a lot of certain things. So the word itself clarifies that. content of a sales pitch. Now, this is important. The content you're going to create in a sales pitch versus an elevator pitch is far different. In content of on a sales pitch, you're clearly talking about how can I solve my customer's specific problem and connect to their needs or identify the need behind the need, right? You're actually asking those questions, discussing and focusing on their problem. Whereas an elevator pitch is clearly driving an attention to your idea. We spoke about it in the beginning. Idea or a unique value proposition. Why is it unique? Why is it valuable? You're quickly helping that person understand that. Yeah. So the content is very different. It's very short, precise. And the outcome of a sales pitch versus an elevator pitch is sales pitch is, of course, to close the deal and make a sale or help the customer. When you solve your customer's problem, you're trying to close that deal and make sure that it's a win-win situation. Whereas an elevator pitch, the primary goal is to generate interest and curiosity. Okay, let me listen to it more. Yeah, somebody's asking something. I heard some word.
No, go on, Leenna.
Okay. Okay, so I hope it's clear for the audience is that why a sales pitch and elevator pitch. Most often, many times I've seen it getting confused that when I'm pitching, it's not about a 30, 60 seconds in sales. When I'm talking to someone to create that. So ideally it comes between, when you're identifying a new prospect or you're having a very little time to drive that message, create that impact. Somebody says, I just have about 10 minutes. What do you want to have a conversation? Let me know in a couple of minutes because I have to leave. That's where your elevator pitch comes in. And it comes to a sales pitch, you have a time, you're actually identifying a longer time to have that conversation, drive those questions, uncover those needs, and taking that discussion forward. Okay. Now, there's another very important point which I wanted to bring forth is it only for a certain level of individuals in the organizations in sales to have an elevator pitch or a sales pitch? I probably want to throw this question back to the audience. Why is the elevator pitch relevant at all levels of sales function? Why do you think so?
Thanks, Leenna, for asking this question. We will request the audience to answer on the chats, of course, and I will read out the answers.
Why is elevator pitch relevant at all levels of the function? Am I clear, audible? Yash, is there any?
No, there's, you're audible, of course.
Okay. Are we seeing some answers on the chat?
Yes, we are. Raja sir saying that to grab someone's attention instantly, open doors for the company. Then we have Rishabh saying valid for
everyone at every level. Most storytelling is elevator pitch. While mapping different levels of buyers, every member needs to be pitched. Yeah. In first few seconds, elevator pitch takes attention plus opens door.
Positive way to start something.
Right from gatekeeper to decision maker, everyone has its own mindset to make decision. I like those words he's using. Decision maker and gatekeepers. We'll come to that as well.
Elevator pitch is more about who we are, and the sales pitch is more about our business.
Positive way to start something. First impression. First impression. This is an important, very interesting word. Poonam, thank you for that. First impression. Your first impression at all levels are important. Now, it is said that I wanted to share some statistics before I take you through a little more in detail, is that, and these are the statistics which I'm sharing with you is not from one source, but multiple sources. And that's why I've not mentioned the source here. It is said that there's something wrong with my 20%. We've seen research says that there has been a 20% increase in sales when you have the right elevator pitch at all levels of function. So when you're closing a larger deal and you are actually, when I say you, it may not be you specifically, but maybe the, at any levels, if it's a CEO who's talking to a CEO, if it's a CFO talking to a CFO, or a mid-management talking to a CFO, whatever those levels of functions we play roles in, when they're having the right elevator pitch to the other person, or elevator sales pitch, if I could talk about, is 20% increase in sales is what they've seen. And 82% of the buyers have said that they are willing to engage with the salespeople or any levels of function when they hear the right sales elevator pitch. Yeah. So this is a significant percentage, right? 82% of the buyers. When I say buyers, I'm not talking about procurement, or I'm talking about the buying personas, people whom you engage with in your selling world, right? 82% of them have said, we are more than happy to engage when we hear the unique proposition, and 20% of sales have increased. So that's the significance of having an elevator pitch. Now, why do we say we need to keep it concise and short and quick to grab attention? Because today it's said that our human mind has only 8 seconds of attention span, which is much lesser than a goldfish. I mean, the comparison is amazing, I could say. The goldfish has at least 9 seconds. You see how it keeps moving. And they say that it's an intelligent fish. So human mind's attention span is less than a goldfish. It's 8 seconds. So you can imagine how much would the person listen to if you don't have a concise and a very quick message going to the other person. So when Microsoft conducted a study in 2015 that found that the average attention span of humans have decreased from 12 seconds in 2000 to just 8 seconds. So within 15 years, from 12 seconds, it is reduced to 8 seconds. So that is all our attention span. And that's because we all know it. We are so glued to technology and the instant change of messages on either Instagram or TikTok or all of those social media platforms, which we are used to looking at information in a very short and concise way. And so our brains are also tuned in that direction, that we are not connected or focused to the other person beyond 8 to 10 seconds, which is why they say in whatever level of function you are, the higher you go, the lesser the time they have. So and because they're into so many aspects of work, you need to be more concise, more relevant to them. Yeah. So like many of them have said that, clarity, it opens door. Yes, elevator pitch is relevant to be used by even C-level executives for multiple reasons, which is effective communication. It establishes greatly their credibility. It helps the other person understand that there's clarity and focus in this person who's coming and talking to us. There is consistency in the way they're actually communicating. And because of the time limitation, everything boils down to time. Nobody has a time, nobody has an attention span. So which is why it is relevant to all levels. It is not only for the frontline salespeople, but anybody who is trying to explain or pitch their ideas. This is extremely important. Let's move into buying personas and how do we craft. When I say SEP, I'm combining both sales elevator pitch. So there's sales pitch, there's elevator pitch. Now, if we have to do a sales elevator pitch and we are going to have a conversation to our buying personas, how do we craft that as per the buying personas? Because that's important. Like somebody said on the message, the gatekeeper would like to have a different information to be heard. The decision maker wants to hear something else. So each persona has a different aspect of receiving that message depending upon the role they're playing. So before we craft those sales elevator pitched based on buying personas, let's look at who are these buying personas, what we call, we call them the decision influencers. And in every opportunity you work with, in every group, any opportunity you work with, there are 4 types of decision influencers and 4 types of buying personas, as we call. And who are those? One is the final decision maker, who's also a decision influencer. He's the veto. He or she is the veto. Veto means having the final decision, which, if everybody says no, he or she has the power to say yes. and the vice versa. And everybody says, yes, they have the power to say no. So that's one buying persona we will see in every opportunity. The other kind of buying persona we are going to look, we would encounter who will be available in every opportunity are the users, those who are actually using your product or solution or services. And their only thought, what runs in their mind is, once the service, solution, idea or product comes into my area of business, which I am managing, how is it impacting? How is your idea or product or service or solution impacting me personally? And their decisions are based on that. So they would like to hear something which can benefit them. If it is not benefiting them, they would be people who would probably object to your. So we got to create sales elevator pitch based on what would impact them in their environment. The third type of buying persona or decision influencer we call are gatekeepers. I saw that word used on the chat as well. The gatekeepers are those who are always trying to screen out or trying to identify what can go wrong rather than what can go right. They are like those people who are the checklist people, people who, those decision influencers who are given a KPI to follow. And for example, if it's procurement, they'll say, are you part of the vendor list? Are you part of the budgets? Are you aligned with the budget? Are you aligned with the projects which you have done? Number of projects to be done has to be 5. So they'll say, okay, do you have 5? Very, very clearly, very focused on what is expected to be followed, as a pattern. So those are gatekeepers. So what they would like to hear is what we need to create a different kind of elevator pitch, depending upon in the kind of role they're working. And the last one is a coach. Very, very important, very, very relevant in any opportunity to make it successful. A lot of your wins and losses depends on this, but we will not discuss a lot about this on crafting elevator pitch for the coach. We will keep our focus on the about 3. So there are 4 types of decision influencers in every sales opportunity you work with: a veto, user, gatekeeper, and of course a coach. Coach is your GPS who will guide you and help you work through that opportunity. Okay, so how do we create an elevator pitch? There are 4 steps. Remember these 4 steps. Every time you're creating an elevator pitch, there are only 4 simple steps, right? 4 steps are: 1, what's the problem? When I say problem, it is about identifying the problem of the client. Or when I say client, I'm talking about the buying persona. What problem are you trying to solve for them in the role they are playing? Or the problem could also be from an industry perspective. If you do not know, if it's a prospect you're working towards, and you've still not had a conversation with them, then you probably do some amount of research about the industry and see what are the problems that industry is going through, what are the changes, what are the challenges, how are their customers behaving. You try to identify that through some amount of research, and then highlight the impact of the problem. When I say highlight the impact of the problem, it's about the impact of taking or not taking an action. So highlighting the impact of the problem, and now is when you start talking about what are the benefits or the differentiator you would create. So identify the problem, highlight the impact of not taking action on the problem, highlight your differentiator, what can you bring to the table to help them solve the problem. And of course, it has to close with a call to action. A call to action is what closes the loop of an elevator pitch when you're creating an effective sales elevator pitch. Okay. Are we on time, Yash? Because I'm not checking the time.
Yeah, we are right on time. We can continue.
Okay, fine. Let's look at creating, and I would like the audience to create some elevator pitch as we are talking, as I'm going to show you some examples on persona based. I'll just move this here. Let's look at one example, first example on a persona based elevator pitch. And suppose you're writing to a CEO who is Vito from the decision influencers as we're talking about. So you have to write to a Veto. He's a B2B SaaS product, is the company which you're dealing with. What problems they're going, when you've identified what problem they're going through is operation challenges and efficiency drop. This is a challenge the Veto is thinking. Impact of not taking action, productivity drop, and cost increase. That's the impact. Differentiator is they are looking at the client, or the persona is looking at a subject matter expert who's relevant to the industry and business. And the call to action they're looking for is they're wanting to engage with the right partner. When they say right partner, the experts, the advisors, they don't want somebody who's selling to them, but they want somebody who can advise them and sell to and help them solve that problem. So if this is a situation and you have to write an elevator pitch, I would like to share with you an example of those 4 points which we thought about to keep in mind. This is somewhat it will look like in 30 seconds if you have to write an email. So we're talking about a CEO, which is a Veto. Hi, the name of the CEO. Our product services solution helps B2B company like yours to streamline their operations and increase efficiency. We have helped companies in your industry see an increase. We're talking about impact and 15% decrease in cost. Our team is made up of experienced engineers, business leaders who are passionate and aligning with companies' business outcomes. Call to action, would you be interested in learning more about our product and services? The problem we have addressed, right? Streamlining the operations, you've seen their operation challenges. We're talking about the impact. Impact is when you take an action, it will be a 20% increase in productivity and decrease in cost because that's the challenge they're seeing. We're talking about a differentiator we are creating. We are coming up with experienced engineers who have worked in that industry and who's passionate about creating the business outcomes. And call to action is, would you be interested in learning more? Yeah. So this is how it could ideally look like when you're creating a persona-based, if it's a Veto, 4 points which we thought about. Let's look at another example. If you're writing to a CFO of a healthcare company, and if the CFO is a gatekeeper, right? She's having issues about administrative expenses increasing, and impact. What they're seeing is absenteeism and productivity. Differentiator, what they're looking for is they're not able to track the absenteeism. They're not able to really manage the administrative expenses. They're looking at a predictive analytical tool, a management platform which has a predictive analytical tool. And the call to action they're looking for is a demo of the platform so that they can take a decision. How would it look like? You would write saying that healthcare CFOs are likely facing rising cost and pressure. Let's look at what is the problem. Rising cost and pressure to reduce administrative expenses. This is what you're actually seeing in healthcare. So you address that point. You're talking about the impact, the cost of absenteeism worldwide, what we've seen is such an amount worldwide. So it's suddenly getting them their attention that, if I don't take an action, this is an impact I'm looking at in their organization. Now you're talking about a differentiator from our side, right? When you're pitching, our healthcare management platform offers predictive analytics, wellness program incentives that can help you reduce costs while improving employee satisfaction. What's the call to action? We can provide a demo of a platform so that it can help you take a decision. Clear? I'll go with another example, something which I'm very passionate about, sales. So I thought let's not miss that. Again, this is the situation. If I'm talking about sales acceleration, sales leaders are facing challenges in closing. What is the problem? 50% of their deals are stuck. That's the problem we're addressing. Impact is leading missing opportunities. Differentiators increase in win rates. I can share these details to the audiences after the webinar so that you can use these examples. And call to action is let us discuss more how we can help you with the best in class, because they're talking about looking for experts. So we're going to position best in class methodology programs for the sales team. Okay, what I want to do is I want to give the audience maybe 60 seconds, so 1 minute. Yeah. And as I say, start, I want you all to write on the chat box and sales elevator pitch for the persona you think you want to write to right after their webinar for an opportunity you're working on. Now, what would we do with this? As we receive this information from you all, what we can do is we will look at it. Because of interest of time, we cannot look at each of it. We'll look at that. We'll refine it as a team here from Sales and Profit. We're going to refine it. We're going to share it back to you saying, how could you concise it? Or we could share the feedback saying, you've done a fabulous job. You're right on the point. You've taken all those four areas which we spoke about, 4 critical steps we spoke about. So we'll give our feedback. So in this way, we're more than happy to support you to refine your sales elevator pitch. So having said that, I'm going to start the time. And yes, you could keep a watch on the chat box and see which persona. So what you need to do is, which persona are you addressing? What's the sales? What's the problem? What's the impact? What's the benefit and call to action? Quickly in 60 seconds, just drop it to us. Okay, I'm going to start the time.
The time is ticking, guys. Request you to send over your thoughts over the chat box. Leenna, has the timer stopped or what? Can you just check once?
Has it stopped?
Yeah,
It's over. 60 seconds is over.
okay, guys. Thank you for participating. We have Rajesh, who has mentioned on the chat box. Should I read it out, Leenna?
Yeah.
Sure. Hello, Mr. XSX. I'm Robin from. Our mission is to help businesses streamline their operational processes and tackle unexpected challenges with ease. We have a proven solution and a team of subject matter experts who have successfully enabled 100% results for many large enterprises. I would love to schedule a short discovery call with you to give you a quick demo of how we can help your business achieve the same success. Would you be available for a call on Wednesday this week?
Great. Our mission is to help business streamline the operational processes and tackle unexpected problem. Interesting. So what we'll do is we'll copy this. I like these points. Somebody has also mentioned your persona. Raja has mentioned something. So we could pick this. I like what Rajesh has mentioned. Our mission is to help business streamline. Okay, great. So what we'll do is we will capture, I think only few of them have written. We'll capture that and we will go back to them. And if anybody of you are interested to understand how to craft one as per personas, we're more than happy to share it with you. We'll move on. The last 2 sections we're talking about, we have another 10 minutes and 5 minutes I would leave for questions. What's the impact of not having an elevator pitch while starting a discussion? We spoke about it a lot, but I'll just take you through a few of the points. Of course, we spoke about missed opportunities. People are not going to take interest in your conversation, right? If you're not going to be concise and unique. It is going to leave a very bad first impression. When it leaves a bad first impression, that means you're not able to take things forward. You're not going to open doors. You're going to, again, it goes back to missed opportunities, right? A first impression is the best impression. If you're not able to have that inconsistent messaging, if you don't have a consistent way of positioning your elevator pitch, you will come across not being consistent. You cannot differentiate from the rest and wasted time and resources. Again, time is the most important factor. You're spending time for a certain outcome for yourself and for your client. So if you can't differentiate yourself from your customer's point of view, then obviously it's not helping you. So the impact of not having an elevator pitch is you're going to go into that roller coaster ride of convincing them. You're going to start selling to them rather than engaging with them. That's the difference. Yeah. So keep this in mind. Elevator pitch, sales elevator pitch is a must every time you're going to have a conversation with your client. Let's go to the last part of the webinar, which is about how can AI help you think through building an elevator pitch. Now, this is something you'll all have to remember, that you don't have to spend your time, your effort, and think about, oh, how do I refine it? Use AI. There's so many platforms out there. ChatGPT is enhancing itself day by day. People are living and breathing on ChatGPT. So use those platforms for your benefit. Now, but what you need to remember is, using those platforms does not mean that you can just depend on it 100%. You need to, the idea is to help you think through, how do I build it? Put up an information, get the information, refine it, and make it personal. Do not just put it up there and copy paste it and send it across to your client. So use AI to your benefit to think through building an elevator pitch, because how it can help you is, one, it can help you personalize. You can keep giving it a command, and you can personalize with the thoughts which they're going to share with you. The platform is going to share with you. It will help you refine your messaging. Every time you feel the message is not up to mark, it's not getting personalized, you can keep refining it as many times. It's the one platform which doesn't get upset with you. It keeps sending you information and says, is it doing better? Is it better or worse? Tell me. You can keep generating information. So it helps you refine. It optimizes your delivery. You can say 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. It will still give you that timeline which you're talking about. If you say 2 minutes, it will give you a 2 minutes. We'll show you a demo about that. And it's a success measurement. And of course, it helps you with a differentiation, because it pulls data from different sources and it pushes it back to you. So take advantage of AI to create your elevator pitch. What I would do is I would stop sharing, and I will ask Yash or Murtaza to open up ChatGPT and put up some prompts which will help you understand how that elevator pitch is getting created. So I'm just kind of giving it to Murtaza. You want to just prompt elevator pitch to an HR for learning and development. Maybe you want to just put that out. Okay, now this is such a large message, right? Now, if I want it as a 60-second message, the same message, Murtaza, can you write 60 seconds message? Okay, can you write, can you make it more professional? Shorter version, just write shorter version. Look at that. So the way you want to concise it, make it short, make it large, extract the information out of it, check what could suit your positioning, how you're going to position to the HR, and you can, custom it is taking care of all the 4 parts of what we spoke about: problem, impact, call to action, contact to discuss how a program can benefit. It's talking about retention, it's talking about impact, it's talking about what problems the organizations are going through. So we can do one more example on maybe operational head of an oil and gas. Let's look at B2B. Operation head of an oil and gas. You can write shorter version. That's it. However you want to. It's talking about oil and gas with our specialized, our tailored. So if you go up, it talks about the problem. Slightly go up on the main message. It talks about efficiency. As specialized and expert oil and gas, you understand the unique challenges you face. It's talking about, I understand the unique challenges. We can also, so here you can mention what are the unique challenges the client or the persona is facing whom you are selecting. So this is giving you a generic information. That's why we say that it helps you think through to create the elevator pitch. So this optimizes your time, platform optimizes your time, and it helps you think through. So I guess, thanks, Murtaza. I'll just go back to the last slide because we are almost closing. Few takeaways before we close and are open for questions. It's a brief, persuasive speech. We spoke about that you can use to spark interest. What your organization does. It's important to tailor your pitch to your buying personas and their needs. This is extremely critical. We started with a hook that captures your listeners' attention. How do you do that? Unique value proposition. Extremely unique differentiator from a persona's point of view. And keep your pitch concise and focused, very concise and focused. Think like the persona and create the pitch. This is one of the best ways to do it. If I'm the operational head or if I'm the HR, what is that I want to hear in 60 seconds so it can help me take a decision to move forward? Because everybody, remember when you're pitching, there are others also pitching to the same persona. So the time is very limited and the attention span is just 8 seconds, right? Most importantly, this is my favorite statement, practice, practice, practice. The more you rehearse your pitch, the more comfortable and confident you'll be when it is time to deliver. This is what I want to leave you all with. The last point, practice, practice, and practice. Every individual who's been successful has been successful because they practice again and again and refine it. So that's the only mantra to be, far more relevant and successful. So I could open it for questions because I think we're almost we're over the time. I think it's 12, right? 12.
Yeah, we can have
any questions. I would be happy to take. I would stop sharing.
Guys, if you have any questions, request you to ask Leenna. That
you can unmute and probably.
Yeah.
Yash, before we close, we have to copy these elevator pitches and save it so that we're not losing them out.
Sure, we can do
download the
that.
chat so that we can go back to the team and go back to these individuals and give them our feedbacks.
That works.
No questions. Thanks, Aditya. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can type it on the chat box and we can, review them and talk about them.
Rishabh, are you from Gurgaon? Rishabh Jain. I know a Rishabh Jain who was with Microsoft. Okay.
Any questions, anybody?
Thanks, Ajit. "60 seconds you have. You can ask a question. Let's see how much you have absorbed in the last 1 hour. I'm not going to put a timer, but my mind is working as a timer now. 60 seconds. Any question? What's that one thing you've taken away from this webinar? Let's give it 60 seconds for that. One thing you've taken away from the webinar. "20 seconds more. Okay. I have to start and close. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. At 1 second. Yes, got it. Okay, good. Lot of points. Interesting. Thank you. That's nice. Missed opportunity. Be careful about that. Yeah.
I think, Leenna, we can probably close the session.
Great. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rishabh, Yash. I don't know why I remember Rishabh. Rishabh was a part of my team, so I remember the name very well when I was at Microsoft. So,
Yeah.
Murtaza, thank you. Thank you, the entire team, all the audiences. It's been very, very, I'm very happy to connect with you all, and have a wonderful day. And don't forget the sales elevator pitch. Don't miss an opportunity. Grab it.
Yeah, thank you, Leenna, for giving such an informative session. It was really helpful for me, and for as a salesperson, I would also like to thank the audience for their patience and the interactions over the chat box. Hope to see you guys in the future webinars that we have. Thank you, guys.